Hey everyone!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
And today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 American football movies. I thought this would be a fun video to do as the 2022 NFL season has just gotten underway.
Yes! Fuck yeah.
As a big football fan, I'll be ranking these films with some unique sports film factors, including the sports, action present, how easy to root for the team and cast of players or coach are, and underdog stories or true stories are a big plus, even though all sports films are dramatized at least a little for the film.
You know what separates the winners from the losers, kid? The score.
And I think a sports film should be able to motivate and inspire emotion, whether it's through the storylines, intense action, or crazy heart-pumping or tear-jerking speeches.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
And if you're a sports fan or a fan of movies or video games, please consider liking and subscribing.
That's all you have to do!
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Remember your training and trust your instincts. You can do it. I believe in you.
I have some fun content on my channel and some great stuff planned soon, including a list of the best fictional quarterbacks. And as the spooky season approaches, I have an overwhelming amount of content planned.
Right? I am the Pumpkin King!
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
I can honestly barely decide what to do. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know along with your own thoughts and rankings of the best football movies or even sports movies of all time. I respond to every comment, so let's get some good conversations going as I'd love to know everyone else's perspective.
Don't make me come down there, you punk!
But let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. In 10th place for me is Don't Hate Me or Dislike the Video Yet, Hear Me Out. In last place is Rudy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I don't dislike this movie at all. There's just better films above it, especially in terms of being a football movie. Don't get me wrong, the whole story about Rudy trying to get on the Fighting Irish football team and dress is inspiring, but there's a lack of real football action in the team dynamics at times. There's big chunks with him being more student than athlete, which I can't hate from a realism perspective, but you gotta admit hitting the books isn't the most epic thing to watch.
Nerd.
But it works in the story, and the fact that it's based on a true story gives it a bit of a pass. As the journey the main character goes through is super motivational, and it has an amazing underdog vibe to it, so huge plus there. By the end, when all the players and the crowd is shouting Rudy, you're right there along with them as an audience member. But there's very little game action, and most of the practice action we see does have a dated feel to it, with a ton of slow-mo and strange edits.
Well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Though the hits can be felt when Rudy is getting pounded into the ground.
Oh! Is he gonna feel that tomorrow or what, Cotton? Right in his beak! Ouch, town population, you, bro!
But I love the moment when Rudy calls out a player in practice for slacking off, and the scene where all his teammates give up their spot for him is so satisfying. The casting is great with Sean Astin in the lead, and Jon Favreau, the happy man, is so cute in the movie as a love-struck friend. And by the end, it's so amazingly wonderful with Rudy getting his moment. And this film is great for all ages, which is good because the little people need their football movies too. But I will admit though, I do like darker themes in general. But if there's a little bit more football action and this one was a little bit more epic, it would be higher on my list. But no hate here or disrespect at all for Rudy.
Gosh, I think that's about it.
And then?
No, that's it.
And then?
Up next for me in 9th place is a forgotten and underrated film, The Little Giants.
What? Is that physically possible?
I feel shocked.
I must admit, I do have a ton of nostalgia for this one, but I think it holds up. It's definitely not original, as it's pretty much a football version of the Mighty Ducks or the Bad News Bears, but I like those movies personally, so whatever. The dynamics between the cast of kids is fantastic, and I love the little character traits they all have that make up the team as a whole, and they all have moments to shine in the big game at the end. All the typical stereotypical characters are present, but they're well done, especially for a kids film, and the way they build up and come together to be victorious as a team is so satisfying. And the cast of kids is having so much fun, it's really hard not to have fun as an audience member yourself. And it can be enjoyed by all ages unless you're a grump with no nostalgia for being a kid. The football action is iffy though, as it is a pee-wee league, but it's relatable to the young kid we all once were, and it's honestly filmed pretty well. Upon research, the cinematographer for this movie actually worked on Schindler's List immediately before working on this film. I don't know, that's just a weird, crazy, like, how the hell did you go from here to here? Like, interesting, man. Cool little career path. That's honestly what I would do. I would just kind of jump around and do different shit. There's just some inconsistencies to the diehard football fan in me that hold it back a dash. But the overall story is pretty solid with the rivalry between Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill as brothers.
We stopped him. He broke the plane. He was in. No way.
And the gender roles they play with are very relevant, especially in the modern world we live in. And they pull it off without being over the top. And I personally had a girl on my football team back in 2012, 2013. I'm not going to lie, though, she wasn't very good, but I didn't have any problem with it. I had no issues. The cameos by John Madden and Emmitt Smith are a fantastic bonus as they actually bring something big to the film in their small amount of screen time.
Out here on I-70, we're coming across here, we went up 104, and we took the 49er, then we were going to take the shortcuts. We go 10, 12, 48, Hut, and we have to hit Canton, and we have to hit it hard.
And I don't know where the heck we are.
All in all, I still think this kids film holds up really well today, especially as an underdog coming-of-age story.
I call it the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Not bad.
Really?
And the message of the film is fantastic about how every kid should get the chance to be part of a team in some way if they want to try, especially at a young age, man. Come on. Oh shit, I forgot to mention the character Spike. I just wanted to do a little shout out for him for editing purposes. What a goofy little intimidating dude.
Is Spike mistaken? Aren't you a girl? Spike don't play with girls. Look, you berserko Barbie doll. When you mess with Spike, you mess with death. Spike's in hell. Spike's in pee-wee hell. I'm gonna rip your head off. Keep clear, Ice Chest, or I'll have to mess up your face.
Alright, but now moving on, in 8th place we have The Waterboy. Here we have another football comedy about a waterboy joining the team and kicking ass. This early Sandler film is very immature and silly at times, but it holds up pretty well as a sports film.
That too?
The football Easter eggs, terminology, and scheming are slightly present.
Now, I want to work with the offense, I want to work with the defense, special teams, go with forward Fran, do some laps. 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10?
The offense's last opportunity to gain 10 yards before they have to punt.
Option.
He ain't never gonna be able to figure this out, coach.
Present, and the action is all pretty believable and filmed pretty well, to be honest. The teammate building and dynamics are pretty solid. I just wish he didn't have to be a badass and scare everyone to finally get respect, but whatever, it's just not the best message, for sure.
Sorry about giving you so much shit this year. You're the heart and soul of this team, Bobby.
Thank you all so much for being my friends.
But it's hilariously well done. The underdog main character, Bobby Boucher, is super easy to root for, and it has a surprisingly satisfying emotional punch. With Bobby Boucher showing up at halftime of the Bourbon Bowl.
Y'all remember when he intercepted the ball and his pants fell off? And then he ran for the touchdown bare ass?
Remember when Bobby Boucher
showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, do you?
In small little side note, my high school football team, the announcers in the box, whenever there would be like a tackle that you couldn't quite tell who it was, they would say, "Tackled by Bobby Boucher." Like, that's how impactful this character is to football, for a generation at least. We get a ton of football action throughout, featuring a good chunk of gameplay, but I will admit the football scenes aren't super top-notch, and they feel a bit dated, especially with those bulky pads he wears. It looks super goofy, but I guess it's supposed to be funny. But the film does pack some big hits, mostly from the Waterboy.
Needle dick! Needle dick! Needle dick! Waterboy! Stop it! You're
The ESPN and SportsCenter scenes are great. It adds a fun realism element and kind of captures the college football feel, putting the teams of our world into the action. Henry Winkler as the coach has a fun little arc building up to a funny as hell moment in the final game, visualizing and attacking the other coach with his mind.
Gatorade.
H2O!
Water sucks! It really, really sucks!
Kathy Bates, the Waterboy's mama, brings a delightful presence to the film.
Not the devil. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. Oh, please don't hurt me.
As does the commentary and the reoccurring fans that pop up during the games. All in all, this movie is silly as hell, but it has a ton of elements that I honestly want in a sports film, so it securely lands a spot on this list.
Damn, I don't want that ass on the team. You're fired! Okay.
And then...
Next up for me is another Sandler film, The Longest Yard.
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!
Please don't kill me in the comments or just dislike. Please, no, stick around, please. There's reasons. This is actually a pretty good football movie. This film honestly has by far the best football action to this point. It's filmed so well with the split screen camera angles, along with an excellent use of the slow-mo and hard-hitting moments. It goes all in on the one game we see, and it feels like an epic finale with fun commentary and fan interaction again, just like Waterboy.
You can do it! Cover Winkler in bees. You can do it! You can do it! You can do it all night long! You can do it! Get that old ass of yours in the end zone!
And the practice scenes, recruiting, and the way the team comes together is hilarious as hell. And I think the Sandler film holds up pretty well comedy-wise. And the story isn't great, but it does come to a great conclusion with Sandler's character Paul Crewe learning how to not be selfish and sacrificing his life for his newfound brothers like the leader of a team should do.
He's got the first down!
Not bad.
I did throw that game. I did it. Now, the warden wants to pin caretaker's murder on me if I don't throw this. So it looks like I'm gonna get to know you guys a lot better, because I ain't doing that twice in a lifetime.
I'm glad you are back. Now I don't have to stab you.
It's great news.
I love how they sabotage the other team in various ways. The guards they play are built up so well as evil, dislikable characters, and it made it so easy to root for the inmates.
We'd be playing the guards.
I play.
The cast of characters is amazing, and they each bring a lot to the film with a good amount of cameos to catch.
I will never get the play.
Nothing a quarter pounder can't fix.
Oh, put cheese on it?
You
infected. I broke my nose.
Burt Reynolds and Chris Rock are amazing as the coach and managers in the film, and even though this is one of the most lighthearted fun films on this list, it still manages to have a dark and pretty emotional punch.
You gotta always protect the McNuggets.
I think I made him shit himself.
Good Lord, this guy shit himself big time.
I told you I made him shit himself.
Is that legal? Yeah, it is.
Is that a touchdown?
Yes, it is.
Especially with Caretaker's death. But my negatives for this one, similar to the Waterboy, this is a comedy first, and some of it is hit and miss, along with it being a dash dated. And it's not the most inspirational, except for a couple little speeches by Sandler. And similar to my next pick, it doesn't feel like a classic sports film, which I personally find it easier to relate to, which is important to me as an athlete. But it's epic, and the soundtrack has got to get your heart pumping. So in 7th place, this one slides.
And then?
Before I continue, after those two kind of controversial picks, please let me know what you think down below. Like I said, I do respond to every comment in due time.
And then?
But moving on, in 6th place is The Gridiron Gang. This Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film is one of the most uplifting movies on this list. To my knowledge, it is a true story, but to be honest, sometimes I don't like to do research on that stuff, because it sometimes ruins the film just a little bit for me, at least usually. But the film does end with real life footage, so I bet it is pretty damn close, and the solid underlying message in the film works for all ages, despite the film being on the more mature side, with themes of gang violence and crime that hit an emotional punch, but it never goes over the top, and I can see younger audiences really liking the film and getting something out of it. At least I did as a kid, and all my friends as well. I personally find the troubled cast of characters to be genuinely inspiring and very easy to root for. They're mostly a cast of unlucky teens, and it's very easy to relate to at least one of them. What puts it above some of the other movies I've already talked about is I feel like this movie would be just fine if you took out the football stuff, as the characters and story are solid as hell. But that being said, it does have all the things you'd come to expect from a football movie. There's so many motivating speeches scattered throughout the film.
What are you looking at? Don't look at them. They ain't gonna help you out here, Willie.
And you can't run away. You got nobody but yourself. But goddammit, that's all you need. Believe in yourself and knock me on my ass.
You got to be shitting me. You don't know how to spell Mustangs. This is gonna be a long-ass day.
And it captures the team building aspect and come up with the ups and downs, going from losing the first game of the year to ending the movie beating the same team that smoked them earlier. It's super satisfying to watch, and the final game is fleshed out super well. It's easy to follow the football action, and you feel like you're in the stands watching. This movie easily has some of the best football action on this list. Up to this point, it's hard-hitting and dynamic. I think I would give the nod to The Longest Yard, though, up to this point in terms of action, though. All in all, this one is really solid, and I don't have any big negatives, but what keeps it from being higher to me personally is it's just not that relatable, and it doesn't capture the classic football feel, but what it does do is excellent. In 5th place for me is The Replacements. I love the underdog vibe this film has, with all the cast being brought back for a second chance or their only chance, and the way their team is brought together is such a joy, and it's all fleshed out and super memorable. They're all kind of stereotypical, similar to the Little Giants, but they're cast so well, and they add their own individual elements and get their moments to shine.
Holy shit! That's whole ass round, boy! Finally!
Jon Favreau's character, being the crazy ex-cop who dominates the defensive side, is funny as hell and probably my favorite among the characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Martel.
Wait, over there! Come on! Get the
ball! Motion! I got it!
Now that is all.
You got the ball! You got me the ball! You got me the ball!
Go sit down now, Danny.
But Keanu Reeves as the quarterback is no snuff as well. He is such a joy in the movie and plays it perfectly. The dynamic between the pros holding out and their replacement players adds an interesting but obvious tension to the film, and the rivalry between the two groups is great as the new players are so likable and easy to root for, while the players they replaced come off as entitled big babies. The team has a great chemistry that's developed as well. The group is so likable and fun to watch. And similar to Little Giants, like, it's hard not to have fun watching people have fun on screen when it's written well and developed. I also like how we get to see a good chunk of the season, and the games are well done, especially the final one.
We ain't losing this game.
It's so epic, and the music adds a big punch. The score in this one is pretty solid. The final huddle speech by Keanu Reeves is superb as well. It makes the hairs on my arms raise up, to be honest. But all these movies kind of do that, as I am a sports nerd and I'm easy to get pumped up.
I want the ball. I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational. But that just wouldn't be our style. Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
The coach in the film, played by Gene Hackman, is badass and old school, but he cares and has integrity. And he's a player's coach, along with being a good mentor, so I do like him. The movie captures the NFL feel on a surface level pretty well overall, but it leans on the kid-friendly side a little bit more without getting into the gritty details. But that's good for the casual fan, I suppose. And I did enjoy it as a kid, and I think it holds up well as an adult. I especially love the cheerleader scenes. It pushes that kid-friendly envelope, and I love it. Little Red was so happy. And you gotta love the commentary inside the film as well, with the great John Madden leading the way. It's so fun to see him in the movie. So if you haven't seen this one, or it's been a while, go check it out. It's worth the watch. This movie is fun from start to finish. Just like my videos. Honestly, stick around till the very end. I always throw some goofy ass shit in there.
I refuse to play your Chinese food mind games. No! No, and
Up next for me in the fourth spot is Varsity Blues. This high school football movie captures the small town feel extremely well, from the players and their family to the townspeople and teachers. And the film is filled with rich, dynamic characters that grow on you throughout the film. It's very much a late 90s and early 2000s teen movie, so it has all the raunchy stuff that I personally love being a kid of the era, with the sex ed class, Tweeter stealing a cop car, partying after the game, and you can't forget the stripper teacher. Along with the whipped cream bikini that inspired so many people to try at home. Little Jared, yet again, loved that scene, and I still do.
And say, I'm stupid and I'm about to get hit in the nuts.
But the character drama is still excellent despite this leaning into the crazy comedy side. There's so many heartfelt scenes, and you can feel the bond the teammates have, having played together since they were in Pee Wee football. I think the way they handled the balance between Paul Walker's character and Jonathan Moxon was really well done. The injury and him taking over was super emotional, despite we only knowing him for a little bit. And I love to hate the coach, played by Jon Voight, such a slimy character, and the performance was great. The music has a great balance between the classic sports scores and the punk rock vibe. I personally love it. And the actual football action we see, it is pretty top notch. The hits are hard, and it's filmed super well with a balance between wide shots and close-ups. I just wish we got a little bit more of it since it is done so well. Some of the games were a little hard to follow, or we would jump in at the last minute, but it balances well within this character drama film. And the final game is epic, and it has that finale feel with a bittersweet, hilarious climax. along with a super dope speech at halftime.
Before this game started, Kilmer said, 48 minutes for the next 48 years of our lives. I say, fuck that. Let's go out there and we'll play the next 24 minutes for the next 24 minutes. We got the rest of our lives to be mediocre, but we have the opportunity to play like gods for the next half of football.
But we can't be afraid to lose. There's no room for fear in this game. Let's be heroes.
All in all, I think this movie holds up extremely well and is personally very relatable to me as I played football my whole life, just like the characters in the film. There's so many characters and things to love. Like, oh my god, Billy Bob. I didn't even talk about the greatest big dumb bastard ever. So endearing and lovable. He also has some amazing emotional scenes. When Lance gets hurt, I can feel his pain. And the build up to him wanting to kill himself or someone is tragic as hell. There's multiple big, powerful speeches, like I said, as you expect, and they don't drop the ball at all for this one, you guys.
I gave it a 10. A 10. A fucking 10. Gentlemen.
But a big knock in general that I could see for some is this is one for the more mature audiences, making it not suitable for all ages for sure. But like I said, I don't mind that at all. I think some lighthearted maturity with a message isn't the worst thing ever for a child. I've seen this film as a 6-year-old and I'm perfectly fine for the most part. I suppose.
No, and then. Nigga really starting to piss me off, lady.
Up next for me, just barely beating out Varsity Blues because of how epic it is Any Given Sunday. The ultimate pro football movie. It features without a doubt the best cast in any film on this list by far, and it captures the drama of being a pro athlete on so many uber realistic levels. From the star running back who's too into himself to the young QB taking over for the aging Hall of Fame one, to the coach and the assistants and the middle linebacker and this movie has so much, man, so many characters. I could honestly talk about this one for a while, and as a die-hard football fan, I love it. There's so many teammates and coaches that get consistent screen time, and by the end, you feel like you know every team member and their position. And the fact that there's so many games that we get to see played, it makes the season they go through feel so fleshed out and understandable, even though it's in the last quarter of the season. They achieve the feel of a football season super well, from the off days to the commercials and parties that the players do. Even the broadcasters and sports writers are fleshed out here, man. The football action captures the chaotic feel so well also, but there's some strange stylistic choices at times with fade outs and blurry cuts and flashbacks and just... This movie's filled with a lot, man. But it works well in context, and it doesn't draw from the epicness of the film's action, I don't think. And by the end of the season, going into the last game with all the stakes and the drama that this film had built up to, it's thrilling. Leading to an amazing credit scene with a fantastic zinger with the coach and the new QB leaving the bitchy owner, who's also played really well by Cameron Diaz in a realistic element. I would have loved to see a sequel to this one with them changing teams. I love the music in this film as well. The original tracks and the way they utilize the score pumps you up for the action, especially in that final game. Little me was jumping around my room with my parents yelling, "Quit jumping on the bed." I'm not jumping on the bed, I'm jumping around my room playing football, dancing around to Any Given Sunday. Don't hate. And this is by far the most mature film on this list with so much explicit content. And I love it because the real world is gritty and dark. The coach, played by Al Pacino, is acted and written super well, and the storyline with his old school coaching philosophy is relatable to me as a Minnesota Vikings fan since we just ditched our old coach for new blood. Please don't dislike because I said that. I'm from Iowa, and yes, I am a Vikings fan to answer all of your unasked questions. And this film has by far one of the best speeches in any movie, and it's relatable to life and football.
The margin for error is so small. I mean, the inches we need are everywhere around us. On this team, we fight for that inch. When we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. The guy who's willing to die, who's gonna win that inch. Now, what are you gonna do?
But I will say this one is a little bit bloated, at least the director's cut version that I always watch. I think this one would be better as a TV show with so many characters and storylines set up, but they do manage to pay a lot of them off. But the characters and drama, along with some comedy, carries this film along with some crazy chaotic football action to keep the adrenaline flowing. And I love how this movie from start to finish is about football and the ins and outs of daily life. So in number 3, this one lands.
And I'm gonna put my foot in your ass if you say and then again!
In my second spot, I have Friday Night Lights.
Of the world, and today it's going to be Odessa Permian versus Dallas.
This is going to be an all-out war.
Similar to how Any Given Sunday perfectly captured the essence of pro football, this film captures the feel of high school football. Watching the Permian Panthers go through their whole season from practice to the championship game is such a tense and dramatic journey. And it's a unique aspect that no other film up to this point has done besides The Waterboy and Gridiron Gang, but those aren't really, those don't count, man. The ups and downs of not just the team, but all the characters and the whole town is so accurate to what a football town is. The characters are so realistic and relatable, at least, like, you gotta relate to at least one of these characters. And a big standout is the love-to-hate, cocky booby Miles. The scene with him realizing he's actually hurt and his future as he knows it is over is tear-jerking as fuck, man. The football action present in this film is probably the best among any film on this list, to be honest. It's shot so well in a variety of ways, and the tension and drama and just epicness is up there. Another reason it's so high is because it's the most relatable movie for me, being set in the day in the life of a high school team. It takes everything great that I said about Varsity Blues and ups the stakes. If you've never seen this one, go check it out. It has the team dynamics, drama, and heartfelt speeches you want, along with a great ending that I won't spoil. If you know, you know. But if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you've seen Friday Night Lights. It's like one of the best movies ever, like, not debatable, right? Let me know. If this isn't in anyone's top 10 or at least top 5, like, let's have a conversation. I'm really curious. Like, no hate, very civil. And that means my number 1 pick by process of elimination is Remember the Titans. This is by far the most emotional, motivational, uplifting movie on this list without a doubt for me, along with being the best overall movie disregarding the football stuff. Which you gotta admit is a big plus. Take out football and this is just them going to school. This would be like almost just as good of a movie, I'm not gonna lie. The lesson delivered is powerful as hell and so relatable to everyone, and it's still relevant today. And the fact that it's based on a true story is so satisfying. I love the relatable high school setting, as I've said. The warm-up routine and entrance song is superb and so memorable. And this one features maybe my favorite football specific speech, especially in terms of pumping you up.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night!
Make sure that they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
The old coach, new coach dynamic is great with Denzel Washington coming in. And this one's team coming together dynamic is as good as it gets. It has drama, comedy, and it's great for all ages. It would be amazing without all the football stuff, and the action doesn't feel dated at all. In my opinion, it was tight at the top, but this one is my number 1. Go rewatch this one if it's been a while. You'll walk out of it with teary eyes and full hearts. It has everything great that I've said about every other movie, so sorry if I'm making this one short, but Dude, Remember the Titans. Classic. So that will do it for this video, guys. Please let me know your thoughts down below. I can see everyone being way different on this one, so let's get some good convos going. Like I said, I will respond to any comment or question or whatever you got, as long as it's real and not a bot. And please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video and don't want to miss out on more as the holiday season and the NFL season gets underway. It means the world to me. Have a good one, everyone. Keep it classy.
Good season. All right.
Yeah, hope you're all happy now. Good guy wins, bad guy loses. Big friggin' surprise. You want a little something for the ride home? They lose their mind. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right, it's better than yours. You happy? Fatty make a funny?
Bye-bye. Players turn.